The Anti-Corruption Commission has set the 31st of March 2024 as deadline for all public officers to declare their income, asset and liability pursuant to Section 119, subsection 1 of the Anti-Corruption Act of 2008, as amended in 2019. Responding to questions on AYV's Wake Up Sierra Leone morning program, Coordinator of Operation Anti-Corruption Commission, Emmanuel Amar, says this year they will embark on a massive verification of assets declaration exercise. Edima Conte now reports.
Ensuring asset declaration by public officers is among the mandates of the Anti-Corruption Commission. Section 119 and the subsequent subsections of the Anti-Corruption Act of 2008, as amended in 2019, requires all public officials, including the President and Vice President, to declare their assets to the Anti-Corruption Commission within 3 months after assuming office. They are also required to update their declaration twice a year while holding public office, not later than 31st March of the second year, regardless of whether there has been a change in their assets or not.
We started this in 2020. We realized that since we started in 2020, well, we actually have been working around it. And in the 2022 declaration here, you will recall, we had a very long extension date until last year, 2023. And the turnout was really, really, really wonderful in the sense that we had, and that's I think the best in Africa ever, we had 96% compliance in asset declaration. We are moving on this year. But this year going forward, what we intend to do and what we are going to do, that is why the timeline has been set as per law. The 31st of March is the deadline date for declaration of assets. Beyond that period, for the whole year until next year, we will embark on enormous and vigorous verification of assets declared to us. And we will be doing that with a view to ascertaining whether people will declare their assets, properly.
Whilst underscoring the importance of asset declaration, the coordinator of operations at the Anti-Corruption Commission, Emmanuel Amara, talks on the possible offences to be committed during the declaration of assets.
When you get into public office, within 3 months period, you must declare your assets. So when you are leaving eventually, when you do your exit declaration, the people, nobody should doubt what you have made, and whatever it is that you have made, you must have made it with integrity. And every 2 years, for instance, this year is a year of declaration, and that one came in by the way of the amendment in 2019. Section 122 of our Act makes it very clear. False declaration is a prosecutable offense. And false declaration, like you've said, is when you over-declare, when you state what you do not have, or when you understate what you have. They are both offenses. If it were found out, following verifications, that a declaration were false, definitely would institute investigation, go through the process, the due process, institute investigation, and then if there is reason, if investigation supports, a prosecution, we can go, to court to actually prosecute, pursuant to Section 122 of our Act.
The aim of the exercise is to prevent public officials from using their positions to amass wealth illegally and to ensure that the accumulated wealth is legitimate and in line with their income. Edima Conte, AYV News, Freetown.
Native Consortium and all the 200 CSOs have said they will stage a protest if the government agrees with CRSG to increase the toll prices on Hasty Mashaka Road. The Executive Director of Native Consortium, Edmond Abu, says they are one of the views that the CRSG have not come clean to the agreement and might have been collected their money long ago. Edmond was speaking during an engagement with the Parliamentary Committee on Works If the Speaker Conference Room. Samuel Tony Sawyer has more on the story.
The proposed toll fee agreement is one thing that has brought about great lamentation among the Sierra Leonean populace and a very tough time for Parliament and the executive, who seeks to strike a balance between the people's interest and that of safeguarding the investors. Few weeks ago, Parliament invited all parties concerned to a meeting to look into the matter, also demanding proposals from them. Today, in the Speaker's conference room, the Committee on Works hears the proposals of parties, and the Native Consortium's Executive Director threatens to protest against any form of increment.
This contract is a bad contract. And mark you, we have a window. That's why we are reminding the coalition of this civil society We are reminding the Parliament that they have Article 22.15 of this very agreement that demands for a review. So we are saying citizens, it's not about just civil society, citizens across the 16 political parties say no to any, and if they mistake increments and any increment, we are going to stage a protest. Mr. Our fourth position, we are asking that they should in fact eliminate all the artificial barriers. The coalition of the civil society and citizens are saying that we demand that firstly they should eliminate these blockades and let us have an alternative vote. As at the last time we met with Parliament, you understand? These are human beings. As at the last time, we trust them. As at today, we still trust them. But if they shift from the position of the citizen, there's something that will punish the citizen, then we are going to stage a protest.
However, Alfonso Manley from Civil Rights Coalition shares different sentiments, stating there is a need for increment.
In 2024, fuel now is 30,000 leones. The dollar was 750. Now it's 2,300. It's over 205% increment. They have increased EDSA charges. They have increased GUMA charges. They continue to pay their worker increase on their salaries. And the running cost for the company is high. Tires, equipment, and maintenance costs. So we are of the view and opinion that there is a need to review the toll gate fee based on the agreement.
National Drivers Union President Mr. Ba says they are not averse to increment but are calling for consideration on Group 5. Having listened to all views, Chairman of the committee Honorable Bashiru Siliki reiterated his opinion of the deficient nature of the agreement and assures all that they'll revert to Parliament's leadership and bring a word to the people.
I said in 2016 that this agreement is bad and challenged. I still maintain that position. And I believe the fact that it's a law, we'll look at the law and we'll recommend based on the law. And generally, I believe at this moment, as a Parliament, will recommend to the executive to look at the law holistically and do a review.
Time is of the essence in this matter for both the contractors and the citizens. And amidst all this, the call for transparency in the monies collected by the contractors and rehabilitation of alternative routes had the citizens' major concerns. Samuel Tony Sawyer, AYV News, Freetown.
The Executive Director of the National Public Health Agency, Professor Fudesa, has urged parents to be vigilant and ensure that their children's vaccination is up to date. He made this call while updating newsmen on the identification of a variant type of 3 and type 2 poliovirus in Cambia and Mabila, Swamari village respectively. Ronald Jomorovia has more on the story.
The identification of the type 3 and type 2 poliovirus variants at Cambia and Mabila community comes 4 years after Sierra Leone was certified and declared polio-free in 2020. According to the Executive Director of the National Public Health Agency, Professor Fudesa, identification of the poliovirus variant sent warning of increased vigilance, thus calling on parents to update the vaccination of their children.
We identified the poliovirus type 3 variant case in Cambia district and a poliovirus type 2 variant in sewage samples from western area urban, that is in Mabila. I want to allay your fears. Similar cases have been reported in other West African countries, which highlights the regional dimension of this public health threat. Young children under 5 are most vulnerable to this debilitating disease. We therefore urge all parents and guardians to be vigilant and ensure their children's vaccination status is up to date.
The variant poliovirus at Mabila Samuel Bridge, Western Urban, was found in a sewage, which indicates presence of the virus in the community. However, identification of the variant, according to experts, does not necessarily mean there is an active case of polio caused by the virus, as explained by Dr. Ibom.
Suspected case from Cambia, from a child, AFP case. That suspected polio case turned out to be that it's the vaccine that the child took that was actually seen in the laboratory. So it is not polio case. a not wild polio case from the Mabela Sawmill Bridge area. The samples that were collected, the sample is the water that flows. So it is from one of those samples that what is called polio variant, a variant of the polio virus was isolated and is a type 2. So this is the one that is more concerning to us as health workers because it can continue to spread to other children and can cause some kind of paralysis.
But what has been the response so far by the agency and other relevant bodies?
We activated our national EOC and also the district EOCs to level 2 response, and we set up our incident management structure, and we appointed key pillar leads, and also we did a press release to inform the general public of the outbreak.
Even though the agency says there has been no polio case at the time, there is a potential risk. Thus, the call for children to receive their full doses of oral macleads and injections. Ronald Jomorovia, AYV News, Freetown.